This is a pretty simplistic explanation of how a T gets installed under your sink. Normally you will have a shutoff that is hooked to your cold water line, and then it just sits there under your sink. You'll have two of these shutoffs, one for your hot water and one for your cold water. Now if you're installing a filter system and you want the filter system to be fed directly from your cold water and you don't want to hook up to your faucet above the sink. A lot of people do this, and a lot of people do it by themselves. They change faucets out by themselves and this type of thing. If you're handy enough, you should be able to do it. Otherwise, just get a handyman, because you may develop a leak if you don't do this correctly. Now, normally, this shutoff is hooked to a faucet feed line. Now there's no plumber's tape or anything necessary, because you can see there's an O-ring in there, and when you have an O-ring, that keeps it from leaking. You just have to screw it on enough, which I'm not going to do because I'm just going to unscrew this. But I'm not teaching you how to install a faucet feed line. But, you know, you could use this for that. All right. But you will normally see this shutoff attached to a faucet feed line. And I'm not trying to advertise this particular faucet feed line. This is just one of many kinds. All right. What you would do is you just unscrew the faucet feed line. It's easy to do. And then you're going to need to put your T, this is called a T. The reason it's called a T is because it kind of looks like the letter T. You have to use your imagination there. Now, it has an adapter fitting that comes with it, which is good, because in this particular case, this will not fit this. It's too big. And you can see that if it would have fit it, it does have a nice O-ring in there, and that would be acceptable. Actually, this has a nice O-ring in there. So you don't really need plumber's tape. But when you have a nice O-ring, you can just completely don't use plumber's tape, because it might interfere with your O-ring. All right, but just tighten it in enough. Not so much you're going to break the O-ring. Don't put super mega power on it, but you might need a little pliers or something to tighten it more. Once your extension or adapter is in there, then you will be able to screw it right onto this. Now, if your T does not come with an adapter, the hardware store will have these things, and so you just need to get one. Just bring your pieces into the hardware store and show them what you want. And sometimes the bigger stores like Lowe's and Home Depot sometimes don't have every type of fitting. You might have to go to a smaller store like True Value and this kind of thing. Now this actually rotates, so that's kind of interesting. You would definitely tighten it, because you want the hardware itself to be, you know, pushed into the O-ring, and that's what's going to keep it from leaking. So you tighten it enough. Usually tighten it just right on down. But if you use a hard amount of pressure and it doesn't seem to want to go anymore, don't keep on tightening it. It's probably good enough. All right, now once you've got the T installed onto your shutoff, then the next thing is just now install it. You can see there's an O-ring. Just make sure there's an O-ring or washer or something. Without that, you do need to use plumber's tape, and I have another video showing you how to use that. It's very simple. Alright, so anyway, tighten that enough, and now you've got everything all screwed in. This is all obviously going to be done under your sink. So get a pillow or something to lie on. Alright, now you've got this ability now to hook a hose in, which will go to your filters or your water ionizer, whatever you're going to, even your refrigerator, whatever you want to supply water to. Now this is called a quick connect, and to get the hose to go in, you push, And then don't be satisfied with one push. Really give it another push. It has to be seated properly or it might leak. But these quick connects, once they're installed, they won't leak. All right. Now, to remove the quick connect, you just will pinch down on the ring and pull out. You may need to periodically, and it's probably easier said than done on these quick connects because they're not always going to cooperate with you. And there are tools you can get that will push that in, you know, with one hand while you're pulling with the other. And you might not be comfortable using two thumbs and pulling like I just did. But that's what you would do. It goes in. Now you can let this hose feed your water filter, water ionizer, etc. Another thing to keep in mind on your shutoff, usually there will be some kind of a valve. Now this valve is in the partially open, it's in the mostly open position. It's all the way open when it goes like straight with the water line. It's all the way closed when it goes horizontal with the water line. But it's kind of a nice feature to be able to regulate your water flow. And flowing the water through filters a little bit more slowly makes the water get filtered better. And so I usually will put it somewhere around there to get the best filtration out of my filters. Okay, now your valve may not look like that. It may look like this, where it's just a little ring that gets turned and it's fully turned open or fully turned shut, that kind of thing. And this is just another example of a T. All right, so anyway, that's the pretty much the simplicity of the T. Once you install it, keep your cabinet door open for a couple of days and put a little reminder note. Check for leaks, because if it's not going to leak in a couple of days, it's not going to leak. But if it is going to leak, you want to find it right away. Water damage can be, enormous cost-wise. Okay? Thanks.